Hello, it's a new day and a new set of interviews. As I promised, we're having a lot of interesting people and experts today with us. I have a returning guest, our amigo Peter Fieldhassie.
Yeah, first time was perfect.
Fieldhassie, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I rocked it. Yeah, I always struggle with names. Everyone knows that I do weird stuff with names. How are you, amigo Peter?
I'm doing really well. Thank you very much. How you doing?
Holding on.
Holding on.
It's been. We were talking earlier. Peter just did a tutorial
Yep.
and a talk, if I'm right.
Yes, I had my track talk yesterday morning and
Mhm.
the tutorial on Tuesday afternoon.
Which actually we are kind of like showing up here. The topic you can see pretty much what was hanging outside of his conference room. Actually, I think I'm gonna steal mine later today and have it here. Let's see.
Good idea.
I should ask all the speakers to bring theirs. That would be interesting, but I don't know if the organizers will be happy with that. But let's see.
I think it's doable. Well, for track talks, probably not as much.
After they are done,
After they are
could be.
done fully, yeah.
Yeah, we have
For the
some
day.
friends that have done many tracks, so that could work. And amigo Peter, I mean, you are a returning guest,
Yep.
but just quickly give a brief introduction of who you are for the people watching.
Okay, so I'm Peter Fieldhassie, and I've been working for EPAM for 11 years now, as you can see. And they are my employer. And so I originally started back in Hungary, and I worked there for 7 years. And they moved me over to the US to work for one of our big clients. And after that, I moved to consultancy 3 years ago, and that's what I've been doing now. So I'm a quality architect at EPAM. And yeah,
And
in a
you're
nutshell, that's
spreading the word of quality all over
Yes,
the
I
place,
am.
right?
I'm trying to.
Which I am very curious of what were your adventures this time, because this is another of the friends that I follow him. He follows me. I don't know, but we find each other all the time at conferences.
Yep.
He's super active, spreading the word of quality. And my first question and curiosity, you started with a tutorial.
Yes.
Would you mind spoiling what was the tutorial, what were the teachings, and what were you helping people with?
Yeah, sure. So the tutorial is about how you can become the quality consultant of your own company. So I'm a quality architect, which is a consulting role. And so usually what happens is that we go and talk with clients and try to find why they are failing in their quality, whether it's overall quality processes or certain aspects such as test automation, or they want to use test automation in their pipelines. And what happens usually, we figure out that it's actually more than just quality. And so it's interconnected. But what happens is we either go in and assess the situation to gather more data to be able to understand what is really going on, or we start with a smaller team and start kind of fighting the fire on a smaller scale and scaling it up, maybe to multiple different teams, replicating what we did in a pilot project, and so on. So the tutorial itself revolves around that, how you can become a consultant, even if you are not in a consultant company, but in a product development company. You can do consulting inside your own company as well. That's one of the takeaways here. And like, of course, I'm teaching how you can do that, not just telling the story about that. And also like how you can do the assessments, what are the different test automation architecture approaches, how you can leverage the test automation pyramid for figuring out where you are at right now and where you want to go to. Yeah.
So, and what would you say, the core principles that you teach at that tutorial? What need, like, that people need to learn for doing a good consultancy in their companies for QA, like key components? You mentioned the pyramid, which I think is super important.
Yes, it is. Otherwise, you can do shift left testing. Yeah, another thing is so usually people want to do test automation, but many times you cannot do test automation without proper test processes, test cases, test management, defect management. Like you need to make sure that those are in place. That's one thing. Another thing, you cannot call your test automation full automation if you don't automate them and integrate them into your CI/CD pipeline. Because what happens, you are going to run them locally, and so you are tied into the 8 hours of work of the test automation engineer. So that's when your tests are going to be run. But once you integrate to the pipeline, you can run them anytime and for a long time. So it doesn't matter anymore.
In modern projects, in modern methodologies, the pipeline especially, you need to learn how to automate the automation. That's a key component. We find in the market several tools that are, you require a person to be there and click on the automation to start it, and often there's no other way, or you may be able to integrate, but it's super complicated, right? And that what you mentioned is also critical, because many organizations, many companies are kind of still holding to some tools, I would say from the past, or with some of these limitations, that if you cannot integrate in your pipeline automatically and get them easily, what problems have you seen in those situations when you cannot?
Trying to think like what's the best example.
Analogy?
Yeah, I think usually what happens is that the environments are not there or not properly set up. So you cannot really do test automation in the pipeline if you don't have an environment to run your tests against. So again, that's very important to know how you can build your test environments, how you can manage your test data, because if you don't have a test data management, what happens is that you're going to have a lot of time spent on creating test data, recreating test data, maintaining the test data, and they might not be similar to what you have in production. So they might not be as useful as test data. Maybe you can still run some of your test cases, but that's not the most ideal way to go. So
You mentioned the test environments and test data. Those are automatable nowadays. Do you teach that as well, to automate your test environments to become like, what is this, infrastructure as code, and is that included?
no, it's a half-day tutorial, so
Not enough time.
no
Okay,
time for
because
that.
that's deep, right?
Yeah, so I believe that there are so many components that you need to learn if you want to become a consultant for your own company. It's impossible to learn everything within 4
Everything
hours,
at the deep.
even within one day. So at EPAM, we have a quality architecture school. What it means that very experienced engineers who've been there for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, or some of them even more than that, test engineers, test automation engineers, they want to become consultants. So they take part in this quality architecture school, and it's a 6 months long course or set of courses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and again, like we are talking about experts who are experts in testing, and it still takes 6 months to make sure that they know everything for them to be able to successfully do consulting.
Silly question, or that I am already drooling around that. Is this like a training that is open for the public, or only EPAM?
Only PAM. Yeah.
Is EPAM taking applications if anyone is interested?
Absolutely. So yeah, thank you very much for the advertisement. So yes, EPAM definitely is open to having people join us. There are many different projects. So maybe I can talk a little bit about like what EPAM is doing, because
Yeah,
I
yes,
didn't
yes.
do that
No.
in the beginning. So yeah.
Segue.
Yeah,
Feel
so
free.
it's a company more than 60,000 people and all over the world, and we are doing software outsourcing. You could see that we are doing consulting, so technology and business consulting as well. We don't sell pre-developed products. So we do have our own products, but those are mostly open source so that people can use it. So for example, Report Portal is used by many other companies, and it's based on a machine learning algorithm or set of algorithms that helps you analyze the reports or the execution results of test automation, and it builds your reports just like Allure or other similar reporting tools. But what it does, it's able to identify what are the test cases that were failing for the same reason. And so it kind of, and that's just one aspect of it, but it provides you a lot of tools that make analyzing of reports and results much easier. And that's just one example.
Hmm.
And yeah, so
There are so many things. I know EPAM, it's huge, and there. So I highly recommend it. You have open positions, I'm pretty sure. And what caught my attention to recommend it is this training, because there's people that is like, I'm never going to learn. There's nothing. But there are organizations that not only expect you to come knowing some stuff, but if you don't have it there, as you say, even experts, veterans, no, we're going to make sure that you learn and you get onto a good point to become your own company's expert QA consultant. That's awesome. I already have some friends in mind that I can recommend. If anyone is watching, take a look. Where can we see epam.com?
epam.com, or you can reach out to me as well.
When you apply, say, I know Peter.
You know Peter. If you know me, then you can say that.
Yeah, get to meet him. That's important. Don't just say.
I'm here at conferences, so I'm very open to meeting people. So
that's another one, because I remember in Peter is often in STAR conferences or Agile and DevOps. This is your first Agile and DevOps, right?
This is my second, but the first time on the west side. The previous one was on the east side.
He's always in coasters, jumping here back and forth.
I like to travel. So.
And I remember that your name was on one of these on the Genius testing bar appointments, right? People could book some time to talk to you.
Yeah. And it's like, what my approach is, I usually hang around here in the lobby, and even if
he gets caught by the interviewer and stuff, and kidnapped in the couches.
Yeah, so I'm very approachable. Like I don't bite.
Yeah, he's a good friend, good amigo. And it's super important. If you come to these conferences and to these events, you will find awesome people like Peter, and you can book some time and sit down with them and have a chat, have a coffee, or even without an appointment. You just see him passing around and, hey, Peter, hola. Hey. And he's always happy to share some knowledge, experiences, a broad set of experiences, because we were talking of locations. Our cameraman, Pablo, Mustache brother as well. They had some things in common. There's a lot of things that were coming up. You will find up with these people lots of things in common, and they are always happy. Peter is always super happy to help you and to share some more knowledge and information. Like in your talk, not the tutorial. Mm-hmm. What were you presenting in your talk?
Yeah, the title is Avoiding the Chaos of an Agile Transformation. Yeah, like it's a story that many of us have experienced, I think. Or
true story, sadly.
It is. So I talk about a project where I was a delivery manager for all the testing activities. So we had a new client, and they wanted, so we started a pilot project for them. And at the beginning, it definitely wasn't easy, because they never really had testers in their organization. And it's not just they didn't have testers, they didn't have testing discipline or testing processes.
The knowledge and the principles of that.
They didn't know how to really do testing. Of course, they tried to test their own products, but without subject matter experts, it's really tough. And that wasn't the only problem, but the other problem was that they wanted to do agile transformation. They started following some principles and having some ceremonies such as the daily stand-up and mostly that.
And that's it. We do a stand-up. We're agile. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem was that while we were brought in and they wanted to do agile transformation, they didn't bring in any agile coaches to help them.
So how were they planning it? Like I read a book once, and that's it.
I guess that was the plan.
Oh wow! Okay.
But basically, what happened was I started working for them, and with a small group, we were trying to find ways how we could test their APIs and the APIs that they were connected to, and the UI. They had a boxed solution. They bought a boxed solution, so they couldn't look into the code. They didn't own the code. And again, that's not easy when you buy a box solution. So what happened was at the beginning I was targeting that, and we were starting to fail because we thought that it's enough if we are focusing on the testing aspects and quality aspects, but it wasn't. So I'm not an agile coach myself, but I have been in agile
You've been
projects.
places.
Yeah, I've been to places. So what happened was that I realized that I kind of have to do agile coaching for them, even if I'm not an agile coach. And still, my job and goal wasn't being an agile coach for them, but I had to step in and teach them, like, for example, how you bring testing into the team, how you make sure that the testers are embedded and they are not working as a silo. How do you make sure that the stories, once they are closed, then all the testing activities are done? So you don't have to run all the testing 2 or 3 months later, or even later than that. So there was a lot of issues or challenges that I had to identify that weren't testing related, but more agile related, and we were targeting that. And I'm giving a more like realistic approach, like what you can achieve within 6 months. Because many times, and that's why originally I came up with this idea in 2017. I would talk
Oh,
about
wow.
chaos agile, because I heard so many stories that, hey, we had a client that wanted to do agile transformation from waterfall or V model or whatever, and we came in, and 6 months later, everyone is on board, or the executives, or the middle managers, or the developers, and everyone was super happy. See the charts? Everything is green, and the velocity went up, defects went down. So they are showing like great results, but what happens is that no, 6 months. Don't give me that BS. Like within 6 months, you cannot achieve it when that organization doesn't even know what agile is.
I would say that those 6 months are barely the baby steps, barely. Like you start to kind of get a grasp on things. There are some organizations where I've been that it wasn't 6 months, 9 months, and we were kind of already having some continuous on pipelines, people caring for quality before shifting left a little, but it
Yeah.
wasn't all green. It wasn't all like actually, it's very ad hoc to your title. It was chaotic,
Yeah.
and but at the same time, that chaos felt good because we were seeing progress, and little by little, when you convince the people, change starts to happen. This is going to be a wild question, I'm sure. I'll make you think. You say 6 months are a good start. How long do you think a medium organization, medium size, will take to kind of be already running? Because you are never perfect on Agile, but when you are like, cool, I got a grip on this.
So, so when you can say that you are finally following agile truly,
You feel good with it because
or at
you
least very
never
close to that.
fully get there, right?
I think 2 to 3 years.
Mhm.
Again, that's a very wild guess, but
No, I do agree.
Yeah.
But I like to put people on the spot because many organizations are like, yeah, in a month we will get this project rolling, and in 2 quarters we are already agile.
no,
Yeah.
no way.
Oh, cutie, you dear. No. So sweet. No. But it's great that you are um, doing some reverberance on this experience because that's why I wanted to ask, like, how much do you think? And if anyone in management is watching and has this feeling that agile is very agile to get on, no, it's painful.
Nice.
I always put like an analogy of agile to yoga, like getting flexible and being able to put downward dog and put your feet on the ear, and
That's a good achievement.
that takes quite a bit, right?
Yeah, probably 3 years wouldn't be enough for me to achieve
Depending
that.
on that's a very good point as well. There are some organizations that even after 3 years they will be still with the foot here.
Maybe a good analogy is that if I had started it as a 3-year-old, then probably it would have taken me just a half year or a year to do that. But if you are already like in your 20s, especially in your 30s, probably it's not going to be enough to practice yoga for a couple months.
That's a very good analogy because the teaching old dogs new tricks and all that stuff, when organizations get so used to some ways are not flexible, not agile, and you try to implement that, it will be like a fight for years. Fatty grudge. We cannot reach it, right? And it's very interesting that you new organizations that are just startups. That's I think why they are easier to get a grasp on agile because they were born on it.
Yes.
They don't have old. I was gonna say old bad habits, but they were good habits in the past. Nowadays, not so good. So
If they like what they brought from their previous companies, if they are able to bring it, and they once they start up together, and if they discuss like, okay, what do you mean by agile? Like, what do you mean by DevOps culture? Like, what do you want to achieve? If they do that right away, it's and if they don't have the answers and they include someone who can help them go into the right direction, then they can easily adapt to that. But it's not just to adapt to that, easily start working in that culture.
but it's just that like it's very different starting with a clean canvas and start painting than that's already something underneath
Oh, yeah.
and you had to kind of fix it.
Absolutely.
And so you mentioned that earlier that we were talking aside of these talks that you were coming to another star event. Where will we see each other again?
Yeah. So Star West it is, and that's going to be in the first week of October, and yeah, that's going to be
Anaheim, California,
exactly.
Disneyland Hotel. Oh, we're gonna see you.
We're gonna have a lot of fun with Goofy and
Please
Mickey
don't sue
Mouse.
us. Disney it was just like a silly Mickey impersonation. It's parody. And what's gonna be your talk there?
So I'm also going to bring this tutorial there, and we will see what else. But for now, that's already
Only the tutorial.
confirmed. That's already confirmed. Whether there's going to be more or not, we will see. I'm not saying anything until it's confirmed, but I hope.
Yeah, because there are still some movement happening with the talks and openings, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we will see. I have appetite for doing more on conferences, so I have quite many topics and ideas as well on topics. So hope that I'm going to be able to bring more to the Starvest and other conferences as well.
If not, we will create something and give some webinars or say, let's see, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
It's similar
We can do
to some of the face-offs that have been happening online.
Yeah.
And and this tutorial, for what you're saying, I think it should be more than a half-day tutorial.
Could
I
be.
don't know if you can take it because it's tough to do a full-day tutorial. Have you ever done that? Presented one?
Yeah, well, a course like I did courses for university students before.
Oh, then you're used to.
Yeah, but it's for colleagues as well. We have junior programs for developers, and they need to learn about testing and test automation as well. So, for example, well, that was a while ago, but in 2014, there was an IS junior developer program, and I had a one-day workshop for them for test automation.
So you are used to one-day things. We need this to be longer and deeper and
2 day
stronger. And
2 day workshops as well.
oh, I like that attitude. Let's see what the organizers say. Generally, long tutorials are very good because people can switch and keep learning or extend what they were learning. And the best part is that new audience will be there doing a review. There's a lot of benefits to these tutorials. I look forward to seeing you again, amigo. I mean, we're
That's
still
it.
here and we are gonna still have some fun today. But so for we are ramping down. We're close to ending up the show today. Well, not today, like with Peter. We will have more fun later. Amigo Peter, where can people reach out to you and get in touch or keep up with you?
So I have my own personal website, which is my name, peterfeldhazy.com. So I know that Feldhazy is not necessarily the easiest name to remember. But
Could you spell it?
Yeah, I can. So it's Foldhazi.
Okay. I'm glad that we spelled it because it's sometimes.
It's like, think about it. Like, we're in Vegas, right? Let me come with a Vegas example. Fold, as in poker. Like, you're folding, and
fold.
then you have some hazy beers. It's almost the same, but instead of the Y, it's an I.
Okay.
So
Okay.
fold hazy.
Mnemotechnics. Fold.
Fold, fold the hazy beer.
Okay.
And LinkedIn as well, Twitter. Yeah, I'm trying to be as active there as possible. I'm not sharing food pictures there and pictures of my daughter, or I don't have pets, but even if I had, probably I wouldn't necessarily share them too often. But you can bet that you can hear about the conferences that I'm going to, others that I advocate. I also share
not
info
pictures
about
of food, but conference related. You have done pictures of beer, so stay tuned
that's
to
true.
that.
That's true.
This guy is a very good brewer, so stay tuned. I always like your beer talk. There's a beer talk, like not like you have a problem beer talk. No. A talk on QA with beers, and it's really good. So, amigo Peter, thank you so much for coming and sharing.
Thank you very much, amigo. And yeah, Leandro, see you around here. And I hope that you're going to have some more fun sessions with others as well.
Mhm.
Thanks for inviting me.
Definitely, and I think there's a chance on some panels on Star West. Let's see, because we are having some fun with the panels lately.
Yeah.
So we'll be around. Agile and DevOps West has not ended yet. We are still having so much fun. I think I gotta get ready for my talk, and we'll stay tuned. So, Leandro out. Peter, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and enjoy your talk.
Thank you. I'll try. Enjoy my talk. That's an interesting perspective. I
Yeah, well, you
endure
should.
my talk.
Or I hope that others are going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I really hope so. Okay, Señor Performo, out. Adios, everyone. Until later.